2024 has been an interesting year with a lot of movies, and you know what? It hasn't. This year has not been interesting. It's pretty much the same as last year and the year before that. I doubt the next year is going to be any different. But a year is a good way of looking back at what you've been through, what you've experienced, sitting down, contemplating your life, and thinking about what the next year is going to look like. So I guess in terms of that, the year has not been too bad. I watched a bunch of movies this year, some good, some bad, and some I watched as I played on my phone. I thought it would be interesting to round up all these films that I watched, or at least the ones I remember watching, and talk about the films that I really liked. I'm pretty sure I've forgotten more than half the films I've watched, but what are you going to do about it? First up is the 4:30 movie, a film I did not realize while watching was a Kevin Smith film. The 4:30 movie is a film about friends who decide to go to the movies one afternoon to the theaters. The whole film happens over one afternoon with conversations ranging from films and pop culture to girls and relationships and everything in between. And it's hard to imagine an entire film happening just over a few hours. Well, there are a few films that do take place over a few hours. Groundhog Day, 12 Angry Men, Evil Dead 2, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Heck, most horror films happen over a few hours. So you know what? That may not be hard to imagine. But this film simply explores the friendship between these three friends, and nothing, literally nothing happens in the film. But it's a great film. It's a wonderful film about friendship. Then we have two John Cena films, Ricky Stanicky and Jackpot. If you don't already know, I love John Cena. He's a freaking great actor. Well, maybe not a great actor, but he's awesome. Ricky Stanicky is a film about John Cena who pretends to be Ricky Stanicky for a bunch of families because their spouses made up a fake friend who they could blame for all their mischief. I'd made a video on this film, but I accidentally deleted it, so it's gone now. It's gone. Jackpot is set in the future where everyone in the city gets together to kill Aquafina. John Cena arrives to protect her, and a lot of fun ensues. I have a video on that film, and you can find the link somewhere here. Anyway, these are not entirely sensible films in the strictest sense. These are films that you won't remember a few days after you watch them. But these films have John Cena in it, and that's as good a reason as any for me to like them. Boy Kills World is a great film set on dystopian Earth, where a young child grows up to fight the people ruling over the common folk. This film is a nice little revenge flick that changes the lead character's motivations or goals frequently. And I like to say that the twists, you don't really see them coming, but you actually see them coming. And the film is predictable. Everything the film does, it seems like it's by the numbers. But this is an entertaining film, really. It's fun. Bill Skarsgård, the lead, is deaf and mute, and he plays the part really convincingly. It was fun to watch him here. More often than not, the film throws some rather dark comedy at us, and I found myself laughing at quite a few spots. Compared to Bill Skarsgård's other film, which frankly I don't even remember anymore, this film was so much more fun. Longlegs is an occult police procedural, and I'm having trouble figuring out if I liked the film or I was completely put off by it. But for now, I think I'll stick to I like the film. An FBI agent is tasked with tracking down a serial killer, and the FBI agent seems to be connected to the murders in some way. The film has Nicolas Cage as the murderer, and his performance is unsettling, also slightly confusing. Look, I don't know, maybe I didn't understand the movie well, but the atmosphere and the events that unfolded in the film, they convinced me this is a good film, so I'll just go with that. Rebel Ridge is an action flick starring Aaron Pierre as an ex-marine who comes into town to help his cousin. But he runs into some trouble when the local law makes his life hell. The film pits him against cops from town, and he fights these cops and takes them out one by one in very exciting ways. I watch action flicks mostly as entertainment, but once in a while an action flick comes along that really catches my attention and has me thinking about it days later. Rebel Ridge is one of those films. The Fall Guy is another action flick about a stuntman who's called in to investigate the disappearance of a movie star. And then things get complicated when a body shows up and Colt, our hero played by Ryan Gosling, gets framed for the murder. The film has a lot of detective film tropes, and I'm thinking maybe this is a detective film homage. I don't know. But that's probably why I like the film so much. Unfortunately, I don't think the film made too much money or received high praise, so I don't think the film did too well. I'd made a video about this and the video got deleted and I'm broken about it, but that's in the past and I can't do a damn thing about it, so whatever. Fall Guy was a great film with great gags, fun action, and I love the film very, very much. Hellboy, the Crooked Man, is a very low budget horror film. For context, the first, second, and third Hellboy films were filmed for 60 million, 85 million, and 50 million dollars. Compared to this film, which has a budget of just 20 million dollars, The Crooked Man has no good effects. The film looks weird, the transitions are weird, the creature designs are low budget compared to the older films, and overall it just looks like a film that's made by amateurs. It's also a very slow film that takes its time getting to the good parts, but I love this film. The film is a fun horror film that wasn't really scary, but still very cool. Maybe it's just that I like comic book films and I like the film because of that, but I'm not entirely convinced this is the case. Deadpool travels across multiple timelines in Deadpool Wolverine. He enlists the aid of Wolverine from one of these timelines and fights a rogue branch of the TVA that wants to prune or just erase his timeline. The film is practically devoid of all story, but it's a very, very entertaining film. With all the cameos and the Easter eggs and the fabulous action pieces, all the comedy, Marvel seems to have pivoted from all the duds they'd been releasing the past few years, and it appears that Marvel is going to do better in the future, but this was just one film. It's not really enough to turn Marvel's ship around, is it? The Deadpool Wolverine video is still up on the channel and has thankfully not been deleted. You can click on this link somewhere on the screen for the video. Monkey Man is a John Wick kind of film, but not really a John Wick kind of film. It looks like a John Wick film, but I'm going to say John Wick less from now on. Look, the film looks just like a This film looks just like the other film. They're really similar. Sure, the central theme in both the films is revenge. Yeah, maybe both central characters dress up in really sharp suits. They both fight with everyday objects just lying around. They fight scores of bad guys without really getting hurt themselves, and they both die at the end of their respective films, or at least appear to die. You know what? These films are the same. They feel the same, they have the same story beats, they end the same way, but they're not, alright? Just go watch the film. Monkey Man is a great film. It's a fantastic film. Finally, we have Abigail, a vampire film. A fairly standard vampire film with no real twists and turns. Just bad guys getting eaten by a vampire. But this is a fun movie. It's got tons of blood and gore. I really don't know what else I can say about this film. I've done a video on Abigail before, and if you're interested, just go watch that. And that's 10 films, 10 picks of this year. There's a bunch of films coming out in December and I haven't really gotten around to watching them. Mostly because I just can't be bothered. But I will. I'll watch it and I will never talk about it ever in the future. Don't forget to like this video, share it, maybe subscribe to the Psycho Film Pirate. I will see you next time.